good evening, everyone in Asia, and good morning, everyone here in US. Welcome again to our second day on the high school fair. So, with this is when we invited boarding school around the world to give information about the tennis program, about admission, about anything for you and your family for to decide what is the best fit for you if you decided to go come this route to play either sport here in high school or college or even professional. My name is George Duangmani. I'm a CEO from the agency College Recruits, and with me, my partner, Kyle from Philippines, from College Sport Pathway. So we are here to help you, to guide you, to give you direction, advice, to consult you to anywhere to follow your dream here in US to keep both sport and education together. I play tennis for the national team in Thailand. I came to college here and I went to work in financial world, Morgan Stanley, and retired 8 years ago. And just started up the company 8 years ago, and we has been successfully placed more than 300 kids in college here in different sports. And Kai can introduce himself so about his background and all tennis. So
So as George has
welcome to the
mentioned, we
program.
are partners. I recently just opened my new company, College Sports Pathways, with the aim of helping and assisting as many Asian student athletes, to gain admission into top U.S. universities through their sport. No, I played tennis as well. I played all the junior Grand Slams. I played college tennis in the States, and I tried professional tennis also for a year and a half. And after that, same with George. I worked in the financial world, and now I am operating this business. So yeah, let's get to it, and we look forward to hearing more about our guests for this evening,
Yep.
Baylor. You know, so yeah, George, you can take the floor.
Yeah, no, so we have the privilege, and I literally thank you for both Ned and Ryan to join the program this evening. Because if you talk about high school sport or boarding school, Baylor School always came up. They everything's about sports, rather whether it can be American football, swimming, tennis, volleyball, basketball, everything. Baylor names always come up. At least gotta be either one or top five or not more than top 10. But I really lucky and have the privilege to have both Ryan from the dean of admission for the school, and also Coach Ned, one of the instrumental heading the tennis program there at Baylor with us this morning. I know it's not many college, not many high school facility that have 24 outdoor courts, right? And now you got 6 indoor court, and we don't even have it in Thailand, sir. I don't know about you, Cal, in Philippines.
Absolutely none here. Nothing like that here in the Philippines.
not, not not even our national center.
That's
I happy to say. But
yes.
like to introduce our guest this morning, Mr. Ryan Armstrong. Good morning.
Good morning, George. Good evening over there. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining. We are really excited to have you on this call. And, I'm just thrilled to have an opportunity to tell you more about Baylor. As George pointed out, we really love athletics here, but academics is, of course, also a top priority. So we really feel like we're one of those schools that can challenge our students both in the classroom and outside the classroom. And as George pointed out, our tennis program is a great way that we've done that over the years due to Ned's leadership. We're one of the leading programs here in Tennessee. And then overall, as an athletic program, Max Preps ranked us the #3 program in the country. So that's exciting. But we also have 23 AP classes overall, more than 35 AP honors and post AP courses. So We really love to get students who care about academics and want to play at a higher level, but then also have that passion after school to go compete throughout the year. And that's the beauty of it, George, as you pointed out. You said 6 indoor courts, but I believe it's 8, isn't it, Ned?
It's 8.
Hey,
Yeah, we
Eight
got 8.
indoor courts. So, whether it's the
that
fall.
brought me out,
It's amazing,
The whole
though. It's
national-
impressive. Right, I know, and I think that's something that is just a huge advantage for us to be able to play tennis. Fall, winter, spring, it doesn't matter. We're competing, and Ned, and then also Coach Ryan Reeves, who I think is having some video challenges. Ned's the director of the tennis program, so he's overseen this for quite some time and has done a fantastic job. And then Ryan is recently joining us from IMG Academy in Florida. He's the head coach of our women's program here at Baylor, and we're thrilled to have him as well. But with that, Ned, I can transfer it over to you so you can tell everybody a little bit more about the program.
Yeah. Well, I've been at Baylor probably about 13 years. And when I came to Baylor, I was selfishly looking for a perfect place for my own children. I think tennis is a sport where historically people have had to travel, had to give up academics, have to sacrifice things in order to get to an elite level. And when my children were young, I was looking for a place where you could blend great academics with great tennis. Myself personally, when I was a professional player, I played at Nick Bollettieri's academy like y'all did. And I saw that sometimes the sacrifice was too great for the academics. The top players had to travel so much to get the type of tennis they needed to move on to maybe a professional level. But at Baylor, we treat the tennis like any top college in the country at a high school level. We have, like you said, we have 8 indoor courts and 16 outdoor courts, which is a facility that only very few universities can rival. 4 of our indoor courts have live stream capabilities. So a lot of our international players, they get to play and have their practice sessions live streamed back home so their parents can even watch them play. So it's pretty amazing that, we have that kind of technology at a high school. So what I tried to do was provide an opportunity where students could come and get everything they needed tennis-wise, yet still have some of the top academics in the country. So Baylor's just a perfect marriage for that. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for any high school student who wanted to go on to college in the U.S. or even professionally afterwards. They're not going to be missing anything. We practice before school. We practice after school. We hold UTR tournaments on our own campus. So kids don't have to travel as much as they would in other situations to get exactly what they need. So I'm very proud of the program. And Ryan Reeves, we just hired him from IMG. We've got amazing coaches, and it's just a wonderful place to pursue your tennis dreams. And we do everything we can to help with that.
Well, thanks again, Coach Ned. And speaking with that, because you've been through the whole process, you've been coaching at the highest level, Andre Agassi, or the trial TMC right. Professional level, and you are a father of 2 great tennis players, and went to college and all the stuff. And now you are the head of the one of the best boarding school in U.S. So, I mean, basically, it's all in that your experience that will speak in itself. And, the kids and the student who come there will enjoy and learn everything through to your experience. But thanks again. And Coach Brian to join you. Congratulations. And certainly he's going to bring the best from ING to add in your team.
All right. Great. That's true. I've seen tennis from pretty much every perspective you can be. I was an ATP player in the late 80s, early 90s. I've seen how many people put all their emphasis just on tennis, and once their professional career is over, they have more difficulty, joining the real world. And I think that's the thing that was very important for me, for my kids, and for all the kids that come to Baylor. I don't want them to ever give up their dreams of professional tennis or college tennis or whatever they have, but you always want that strong academic background to fall back on, so you have a successful post-tennis career as well. And I think that Baylor School will provide everything you need to reach both of those ceilings, as high as you can get in tennis, high as you can get in post-tennis. So it's great.
Yeah. Right. So Kyle, the tennis in Philippines, is that the same as in Thailand, that most of the time kids have to decide, drop out of school and play tennis for a professional career when they're like 12 years old? Is that
Yes,
that
there's a
sound
lot of
familiar?
there's definitely a lot of similarities, that's for sure. And this is why I am so for the for example, your system, coach, wherein you really balance the academics and the tennis perfectly, or whatever sport, not perfectly, because
Right.
as you've mentioned, if kids just lean towards the sport, then it's gonna be more difficult for them to catch up. Once their sport is done, once I don't know, they get injured or let go of the sport, then the struggle starts to come. Right, it begins there. And I, for example, I think I'm a good example of leaning towards the tennis side more. I was just lucky enough to get to where I got to, but um, if you were to ask me if I could have done things differently, I would have definitely chosen, for example, Baylor, to be at Baylor School and really balance my academics and my tennis. Again, I was just fortunate enough that my parents did not let my academics slip. But in most cases, when people lean towards the other, especially towards their sport, then the academics really suffer. So I really am all for what you guys are doing there, and I hope that a lot of the parents and the kids will open their minds to having or considering this option of being at Baylor, or any boarding school that will really make them focus on both their tennis and their academics.
So Ryan, the question could be either Ryan or Coach Ned, is that um, what level of tennis does a kid have to be or she to be in order to come join Baylor?
Well, as you saw in the video, we hold a lot of camps for beginners all the way to top college players. But so any level, we have a place for them. But we do have a traveling team, and that's the main competing team that we have. And those kids are all on the path to being college players in the U.S. So that's basically what we're looking for, is people that want to go on after Baylor and play Division I, Division II, and a whatever level university. That's the kind of kid that we're looking for here, and that we can do the most for. So if they're on that pathway, or that's their dream to play university tennis in the U.S., and they don't have to be on the path to be a professional player, but if their goal is to play in college, I think Baylor's a perfect place for them. And what we would provide is pretty much the same kind of instruction and training you would get at any academy. We have pre-morning workouts from the first day of school to the last day of school. It's a full-time program, and with the 8 indoor courts, weather is never a problem. So we're pretty much training every single day, year round, so they won't miss any time on the court. But the level is anyone who wants to pursue their dream of playing college tennis. I think that's the perfect level. That's our wheelhouse at Baylor, where we really can help a kid. So we do have younger programs, but the boarding school at Baylor starts in 9th grade. So mostly the 9th grade to 12th grade players are really, their goal is to play college tennis. So that's sort of the level that is in our wheelhouse.
So, Coach, just to ask more specifically for kids or for student athletes watching, what for those who would want to aim higher, like play college
Right.
tennis, what level would they need to be considered to be part of that traveling team that you just mentioned?
I would say, if you're familiar with UTR, the girls would probably be UTR 6 to 9. The better players would be pushing towards that level, and the boys maybe 8 to 11 to 12, 8 to 12 probably. So the top kids would be more on that level. So anywhere in that level, even the boys down 7 to 12 would be. Obviously 12 is a very high level. 12 would be someone, especially at a 15, 16-year-old level. But
that's automatic. That's automatic Division I level.
Pretty much. If they're already 12 at 15, 16 years old, they're quite a top player. And that's our goal, is to push them to reach that level by the time they leave Baylor. But they wouldn't have to necessarily start out at that level.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, so the kids are there that you can help them improve and develop to that level. Like, for example, if they go into the high school, ninth grade, and as boarding student, so they can come in at the level, but 4, 5, 6, you can help develop.
Absolutely, sure. Yeah, and if they want, we have opportunities. We have coaches that work all weekends. We have people that work after practice. So whatever the academics is strong. So there are requirements for the academics, but pretty much every afternoon, every weekend, and if it's possible before school. Nothing before school is ever mandatory, but it's optional before school. If they can work it out with their class schedule, we can do individual workouts. And so if a kid is motivated and really wants to be good, we're going to do everything we can to help them reach their potential. So, they're not coming in, they don't have to come in and save the world right away. If they're very motivated and hardworking, then that motivates us to want to push them harder. So depending on their level of intensity and effort, we're going to give them what they need.
Perfect. Coach, just one question with regards to the academics. Do the kids need to maintain a certain grade to be able to continue practicing with you guys or continue playing? Or is that not really it doesn't really matter?
Well, what I found is anybody who's motivated enough to be this strong in tennis usually has no problems with the academics. It's never happened that we've had a child in the 13 years who hasn't been able to practice because of academics. So I think tennis, we're not trying to train just the tennis. The tennis coaches are more interested in their whole person. So we're going to be very open. If they're having any trouble with school, we're going to work their tennis around them, getting the extra help. Baylor is absolutely amazing as far as the teacher interest in a student. If they have any problem with the subject, they're going to get all the help they need. Ryan can attest to that for sure, that the teachers they're following these kids individually. So if they do have trouble, they do have potential for extra help in the morning, which is why we don't ever make morning practice mandatory. So they can go get their extra help they need to make sure that they're open for the afternoon practices. That's the only mandatory thing is afternoon.
Perfect.
Kyle, that's a great question. And one thing I didn't point out was we have a learning center here on campus that is open from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 or 4 o'clock actually now in the afternoon. So for our boarding students, there are going to be pockets in the day where, they'll have a little extra time after lunch, or they'll maybe have a free period. If their grades are above a certain level, they can have a free period. And they're just that learning center is an opportunity to go in and meet with one of 6 tutors on any core subject to get help, whether that be reviewing an essay or preparing for a math test. It's always there as an option. And then as a boarding student in the evenings, the library is open till 10 o'clock at night. So study hours begin at 8 o'clock at night, and they can do that in the dorm. And the dorm is stationed with teachers as well, but the library is also stationed with tutors. So it's not uncommon for students to migrate over to the library between 8 and 10 if they need a little extra support to get that from the library. But Ned's right. I mean, Baylor is all about educating the whole child in the classroom and out of the classroom. And I was thinking, Ned, as you were saying that, we really, knock on wood, we just have not had tennis players here who struggle in the classroom. And I don't know if that's just the mentality that they have. They're so committed to the sport that they're also committed to their academics. But we've been fortunate in that regard. But, you know, to Ned's point, if we did have a tennis player who was struggling, I know that his program would do everything they could to make sure they get back on the right track before they are competing.
Amazing, amazing. So the kids there pretty much have the best of both worlds.
Right.
And I'll tell you one other thing, that this is just me and our staff, is when you bring a boarding child in, you really, as a coach, sort of make a commitment to help parent that kid while they're here. So it's not just about the tennis. You know, my life, and this is what I enjoy. I enjoy my relationship with the kids, and helping parent them is more than just coach them. And when you're bringing a high school kid over, there is that commitment that every coach needs to make. And I think at Baylor, not just in tennis, I see it all the time. That's what we enjoy. You know, they do have dorm parents that would help them with things, but, you know, if a kid gets sick, they're going to come to my house. They're going to come to one of the coaches' houses. You know, people take care of them here. You don't just, sometimes at an academy, at a tennis academy, it's more like a assembly line situation, where it's a school like Baylor, you're part of our team and it's a family. So when they come to Baylor, I feel like I've made a commitment, and my wife, to help parent these kids. So, you know, we're in the middle of a fall break now. The kids will be coming to our house to eat, to get, you know, it's just not just about the tennis. It's more like a family environment. And I think Ryan could tell you that's how it is at every sport at Baylor.
Yes, and I'm fortunate to be a dorm parent on campus. So in addition to being the director of admission, I also live in the dorms. I've done that for 8 years. So it's been a cool thing just to welcome families in from all over the world into your family and make them feel comfortable and get to develop that relationship with them and then their family from afar. We just had a young man from Thailand who's here, and he's a great student, but he's also here to play tennis. And he was just able to travel over here. We have one dorm right now that we are using for quarantine space. So, you know, amidst the pandemic, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what's happening there. So we're, as students will travel in to go to school, they'll quarantine in a dorm, and then they'll move over to another dorm. So that just happened yesterday. So I'm excited to get to know this young man a little bit better. And I know Ned and Ryan will feel the same way. So it's, Ned's right. I mean, it's really like a family, and I have a different perspective, I think, than most people at Baylor, just because I grew up in New England. I went to a public school, and now coming to a place like Baylor and being here for 8 or 9 years, I'm upset that I didn't have an opportunity to go to a place like this, because it's so special and unique, and I love being a part of it. But Ned hit the nail on the head. I mean, this is such a community of great students and great athletes, and it's an amazing place to be.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks for
And
sharing.
also, I think is that you know, after I listened to both of you speak more, if you look at further along the line of what's going to happen with the kids, you know, once they at Baylor, you prepare them well. When they get to college, it's like a walk in the park for them. You know, because they train through the years before they actually get there, which is different. If you come aboard from foreign countries, you know, you get the first day to college. I mean, everything is new. The transition is not there.
Culture shock.
Yes.
That's the word there.
Yes.
And I do think that one of the benefits is I was previously a college coach, and my history, I know almost every coach in the country. So it's easy for me once they get here to help place them into universities that are perfect for their skill set, for their desires, for their studies. So I think that helps as well. Y'all can help with that. I know y'all are amazing at that as well. So it just has that extra level of connectivity between Baylor and universities as far as the tennis goes. It makes it a great opportunity to come and study and be independent for a little bit. So when you get to college, it's just easy. You know, you've done it. So it's like a pre-college experience, really, for these kids.
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay, so we come to the end. Any last recommendation, last word for a prospective student that's coming into Baylor, hopefully in the next enrollment? It's going to be either January or August, right, for your enrollment?
Yes, so we're actually considering some mid-year enrollment for January, so that's a potential option. But we're also looking, I mean, normal admission would take place in August. Students would come here in August and, then begin the school year kind of late August. But I'll say this, I mean, I'm really excited to partner with you, George, and get to meet you, Kyle. I think you have a wonderful organization, and I think it's just a great match for Baylor. So I'm hoping that moving forward, we'll have an opportunity to meet some of your student athletes, and they can apply through the SAO, the Standard Application Online, which I think is fairly common. That's the best way to do it. But they can also reach out to us directly if they have questions or concerns. I'm happy to Zoom or speak over the phone with anybody just to give them the answers they need to feel comfortable about applying to Baylor. But I think it's a wonderful place, and I hope you'll consider it.
Yep. No, absolutely. I'm just hearing about Baylor, haven't really had the privilege of visiting you guys, but hopefully after the pandemic, I'll get to have that chance to,
Yes.
to see your amazing facility over there and what you guys got going on. But yeah, you guys will definitely be high on that list of recommendations from us. That's for sure. And yeah, we look forward to sending more kids from Asia to you guys.
Great.
That's
Thank you, Kyle.
fantastic.
That'd be great.
Yeah, they won't be
Okay.
disappointed in the tennis, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. We're sure about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks again for your time, Coach Ned, and also
All right.
Ryan, both Ryan. I know another Ryan who could not join, I mean, the speak.
All right.
But thanks again for your time, and looking forward to foster our relationship.
Yep.
Great to
Thanks,
talk to you
Ryan.
guys.
Thanks, Ned.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Kyle. Y'all
Goodbye.
have a great weekend.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.